How's it going, folks? Brian and Leia Cusco here at Triple B. I just got back from Tinley, and she doesn't want to be anywhere but sitting with her daddy. Aw, baby girl. Is that why we're all down here together? You upstairs crying a lot? Yeah, is that what's happening? Today's guest is Mr. Amad Osman, probably better known as Ozzy, from his company Ozzy Boids. I'm still not sure exactly how I should say it. Leave a comment down below if you have a wild guess as to who it is that got Ozzy started into his reptile keeping hobby as it is today. Take a wild guess, leave a comment down below, and watch the episode to find out if you even had an inkling or clue. Ozzy's an awesome dude. He's a cool guy to hang out with, and we just sat around, kind of talked about the hobby and the show and all the good stuff that I like to talk about to people on these episodes. So speaking of Tinley, if you go check out the vlog channel, you can see all the behind the scenes action at Tinley that happened. And you're watching Triple B TV. It's supposed to snap, Tay.
I did a little thing with you at your table real quick with Snake, but that was just a quick little, I mean, the full thing, like, how did you get into keeping reptiles, snakes?
Snakes? Well, I've always loved reptiles as a kid, you know. It's a typical situation with most breeders, yeah. So I had everything. When I was growing up in Brooklyn, I had everything, man. I had turtles, I had lizards, I even had a pigeon coop. I used to collect birds. So really big into animals, but I was always like super fascinated with snakes. And there was this one guy named Clifford. He used to have a boa constrictor, and he used to always bring it out in the summertime. He would sit on a porch and just have his boa sunning herself, you know, outside. And you know, the neighborhood kids, we would all hang out and just check her out. And ever since then, I've been fascinated with constrictors. So, you know, had all of that stuff, and then I hit the teen years, and I kind of got rid of everything. I really didn't have anything, and ended up going to school, going to college, got married, and I think it was around 2000. Actually, it was 1999 when I got divorced. My ex-wife was terrified of snakes. She couldn't even look at a picture of a snake. So there was no me getting a pet. So we got divorced, and I was sitting around all depressed and shit, and I always look for the positive in every situation. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, now I could go out and get me a snake. So I started got online, and I started like doing some research and checking out some stuff. And I lived in a condo, so I wanted a small constrictor. And I started looking at ball pythons, and when I got online, it just like really blew me away.
And this was
This was like 1999.
Okay.
Going into 2000. And so I found a local show, and I drove down to that show, and I bought 2 normal ball pythons, captive bred ball pythons, and one for me and one for my nephew. And and I just kept researching, and then I started seeing all of these morphs, these color morphs, albinos, and pieds and stuff. And then I saw albino boas, and I was like, I had a boa when I was a kid, and when I saw the albino boa, it just blew me away. So I called the guy, and he had some females for $1,200, and I called him. He was local. I lived in Virginia at the time. The guy was in Maryland. He was like, come on out, just drive out. I'll show you some stuff, and you could pick up the female. So I drove out there. So this guy, he has his house, and then he has like a hill behind his house, and he built a building just for his snakes. It was Pete Carr.
Okay.
So he takes me back to the reptile building. And then he starts walking me through the building, and dude, it's like a long hallway, and he's got rooms on each side. And he starts taking me in, he's showing me all of these boas. And he had all these albino ball pythons and like eyeballs and all of that shit, and I was blown away, bro. I like couldn't believe it. This guy was living a dream, you know. He had his house, he built a nice big building in his backyard, and he was making a lot of money, selling these snakes for a lot of money, and just had all of these really, really cool constrictors, and I was just hooked ever since. So my first morph was an albino boa, and that's why when you see my logo, I know everybody knows me for ball pythons, but I still breed boas. But my first morph was an albino boa, and that's what you see on my logo. It's an albino boa. So
I wondered about that because everybody does this, but the name is Ozzy Boids, so I'm like, it works.
Yeah. So, you know, that's why. My first, it was a female, Carl strain, albino boa. Her name was Peaches. That was my first morph. So that's why I did the logo that way.
Cool, man. And everybody does know you for ball python. I knew your name before. I knew your name when I first got into ball pythons, which wasn't very long ago.
Yeah.
Your name was definitely one I knew. I knew your name before I knew what your face looked like. You know, I didn't know. I called you Ozzy. A lot of people call you Ozzy, even though your name is Amad.
Yeah,
I call you Amad now because I know that's your name.
My last name is Osman.
Look at this displays running away. Right, Amad Osman. So it goes with.
That's crazy.
Trying to run away.
Like a runaway display.
So the orange dream is obviously the animal you're known for. Right?
That's what put me on the map.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just shit. It's just crazy. You know, when I think back, it's just crazy where it's coming. I walk around the show and I see cool orange dream combos all around the show. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
What do you think it was? I mean, it is a beautiful genetic to work with, especially now as a super form and everything, and it just adds. It's subtle on its own, somewhat. It's somewhat subtle on its own, but it really adds a lot to combos. Like if all these combos, that extra boost. I think maybe that's why it works so well.
It's a very versatile gene in that, like most mutations, you know, they basically bring one thing to the table. But with the orange dream, it adds color. It's a cleaner gene. It maintains that high contrast, you know, and then it reduces the pattern. So it's a very, very versatile gene. Does a lot of different things, and you could plug it into any project you have.
And it's going to make it better.
It's going to make it better. So that's why I think it's so popular, and that's why I think it's, you know, it's basically maintained its popularity for so long. And when I produced the Super, it just, you know, that was it. Just really, you know, took that project to the next level.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is your first time at the show, Clive. What do you think about the show so far?
So LA has been a blast, having a good time, you know. I've been in California before, but I've never been to LA. So the show is great. This show is huge. There's a lot of tables, a lot of people, a lot of vendors, and I think the show is going to grow.
Yeah, it's already growing. I mean, last night we were at the thing like that. Last August, granted the January show was bigger by default, but last August at the bar, you know, there was 4 of us. Friday night. Last night there was
there was an army of people.
There was an army of people. Yeah.
We bought out the bar, right? They ran out of beer. So I think it's a great show, and I don't do a lot of shows, but I like to do the big shows. So, I mean, I've just started getting back into the show circuit last year. I'm kind of semi-retired now, so I have a little more free time. Before I had, you know, full-time job, kids, and doing the snakes on the side, so it was really hard for me to, you know, get out.
Right.
So I have a little more free time now, so you guys are going to see me at the shows a little bit more. I like coming out to the shows and hanging out, networking. I like looking at other people's animals because it sparks ideas, and, you know, it inspires me too, and you know, helps me with my projects. So I really like to I think it's important to get out and walk around and take a look at stuff and talk to people.
Absolutely,
so
man. And this is a chill guy right here too, man. I like chill people. That's why immediately the first time I heard it, I was like, all right, this cat's cool.
Yeah.
Everybody else going tapping out, and we're out there.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been man. Every time we do shows, we have fun, man. There's a lot of hanging out, a lot of partying, going out to eat, you know, and sometimes, some of my friends, I only get to see them at the shows. Some of my
Dude,
buddies
that
from
guy that popped up,
Montreal,
guy you hadn't seen for 15 years. And
Yep.
That was amazing to see you guys.
So that was Brian Bodie, and he, like, you could talk to him, and he remembers me when I was in my spare bedroom with my, handmade melamine racks. You know what I mean? Starting out from scratch, and he knew me when I got the Orange Dream when she was a little baby. You know what I mean? So we go way back, and he kind of he was in the military, so when he moved, he kind of got rid of his collection, and now he's getting back into it. So it was really cool seeing him and catching up with him, all these years later. So
awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, you gonna come back to the show then? I know it's all the way across the country for you. You gotta bring some animals next time.
I definitely I'm gonna come back, and I might set up. You
think you might bring some animals?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I have a lot of inventory, so I'm probably not gonna ship all my animals out here, but I'll probably send some display animals out here, and sell a few T-shirts, and just I like to create excitement, and I like to show. I take crappy pictures, man. I'll be the first to admit
snakes
it.
are amazing. I said in Tinley, you had them in Tinley, and those things were mind-blowing. Some of those. Oh,
so I think it's important to come to the show and let people see, you go to Justin's table and you can't help but get inspired when you see some of those combos. So I think it's important to come out and just create excitement, keep people motivated and show people what's possible.
Yeah, man. So what do you see going forward for the next 5 years for yourself? Going to more shows?
Definitely, yeah. Definitely doing more shows. Definitely continuing to work some of my projects. I'm really excited about some of my projects. So hopefully I can get out on the show circuit a little bit more. I want to get my daughters out, kind of get them involved.
Awesome. Yeah, you want to get the family involved, man.
Yeah. They've been talking about wanting to come out and do the show. So they're getting a little older now, so bring them out.
Man.
And they could keep me in line. So.
Yeah, we could all use a little bit of that, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to talk by the end of the day.
Fun times, man. Fun times.
Thanks for coming and chatting with us for a minute, bro.
Absolutely, man.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode with Mr. Amad Osman. And next week, we're going to be sitting down with Mr. John Degg of JD Constriction, the creator of the Stormtrooper ball python. And until then, you've been watching Triple B TV. Y'all take care.
You like reggae?
Bro, I played drums in a reggae. I toured in a reggae band for like 12 years. Yeah, bro.
I love reggae.
Yeah, man, me too, dude. You listen to a lot of reggae? You listen to all kinds of music?
I love reggae. I listen to all kinds of music, but I listen to a lot of dancehall, a lot of reggae. I like the really old reggae, the Studio One.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Like some Toots.
Yeah, Toots and Dennis Brown and
We got to play with a lot of
Sugar Minot.
Oh yeah, Sugar Minot. We played some shows with Sugar Minot. We backed up our band back. We were Eka Mouse's band for a while.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome, man. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It was a wild experience, man.
Yeah,
sure.
I bet.
He's a big dude, man. He walks up on stage, especially like after he was done with like some crack stuff or whatever. So then he like
I've done some like reggae Sunsplash and stuff like that.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I've not been to Jamaica yet.
Me either. Yeah. My ex-wife is Jamaican.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect, man.
We hanging tonight.
Oh yeah. I'm hanging right now. No, I'm just kidding.
So for whatever reason, every time I turn this thing on, it's tripping the breaker on the GFI circuit. Until now. Perfect. Next week, we're going to be sitting down with Mr. John, sitting? Is that how you're supposed to say it?